is where I'm from, this is where it started. This is what becomes of the broken-hearted. This is going out to those departed from a life so young it was barely...
Ani, chance indigenous cause was Aanzkan donjaba, migazen totem, what's gonna wabna meg Nishnaabemdaa Noongo minoa. Today we're gonna be going over the verb Aanzkan. So Aanzkan means you singular change it or those. Talking about clothing. This is a VTI, so you have to use it with inanimate clothing. There is another version of the verb for animate clothing, but we're not going to go over that in this episode. So Aanzkan is just for one person. So you're talking to one child or just one person. Aanzkan. And that doesn't really specify between one object or multiple objects. Unlike when you're speaking in a statement with this sentence, like Ngi Aanzkan Babgoyan. I changed my shirt. And then Ngi Aanzkan Namaksanan. I changed my shoes. You don't have to change the verb to match whether you're talking about one thing or more than one thing. This is the same for Giskan and Biskan. And I haven't looked into it, but maybe all the other VTIs as well. So with this, when you're commanding somebody to take something off, you can be specific, especially if they don't know what you're talking about. You might need to add in that context whether you're talking about one thing or more than one thing. So you can say Aanzkan and then include it in at the front or at the back. So one thing that would use is that I would say, like, for my daughter when she was in pull-ups, would be like Gadazian Aanzkan. That means change your diaper. Gadazian Aanzkan. But if you wanted to tell them to change more than one thing, you won't have to change the command. That'll still be Aanzkan. So if I wanted her to change her shoes, I would say Gamaksanan Aanzkan. Gamaksanan Aanzkan. And that means you change your shoes. And you don't have to change the verb. Now, if you want, you can put the clothing that you're talking about after the verb. But like I mentioned in the Giskan episode, you'll have to include a demonstrative pronoun. Or maybe you don't have to, but speakers will include that, and it might sound funny if you don't, after the verb or the command. So, Aanzkan il Gadazian, change your diaper. Or Aanzkan nil Maksanan, change your shoes, or change those shoes. So if you wanted to command more than one person, then you'll say Aanskamuk. Aanskamuk. And the same things apply to this as we talked about with Aanzkan. So try to include your article of clothing at the beginning. If you don't, try to use a demonstrative pronoun between your command and your article of clothing. Just like Aanzkan, this doesn't differentiate between a singular object or plural. So you can use the same verb Aanskamuk, whether you're talking about plural things or singular things. And if you're including the object in your sentence, you're going to have to change that noun with different word parts to say y'all's whatever. So like shoes we went over in the last episode. Maybe we'll use the same example here. You can say Gamaksan wan Aanskamuk. That'll mean you guys or all y'all change y'all's shoes. Sounds funny in English. Or you could just say it, you change your shoes, but in English it doesn't really differentiate between you plural and you plural's shoes. Whereas in Nishnaabemdaa it does. And then if you're talking about one thing, like if you're just talking about their coats and they're all each wearing just one coat, you can just say Gabiskawaganwa Aanskamuk. Gabiskawaganwa Aanskamuk. Gabiskawaganwa Aanzkan. Y'all change y'all's coats. And the last one is Aanzkan, so you're including yourself with whoever you're talking to. Now, just like the other ones, you can include the article of clothing or footwear, whatever, at the front, like before the command or after the command. Same thing applies here. So you could say like, let's change our shoes, something like that. And just like in the Aanzkan episode, you'll have to change the noun with different word parts to say ours. So you'll add a G sound, and then shoes or whatever article of clothing you want in this sentence. So G, G, muksen, and then inanin or nanin. Nanin. Not nanan, not 5. It's different. So G, muksen, nanin. Gmuksananin. Gmuksananin. And that says our shoes. Hausa, mie, chumigwachka bizindoyak.
This is where I'm from, this is where it started. This is what becomes of the broken-hearted. This is going out to those departed from a life so young.